these are the kind of things that I see as being quite important. Some of them you can't really put a figure on. But yeah, I mean, it's anything that can help. If you're not going to give somebody a long-term stable career with you, as way you might have done 30 years ago, then if you want them to work for you, if you want them to feel part of your organization, to feel engaged with your organization, and want to do their best for it, then you need to understand what kind of incentives would motivate them. And you've mentioned a couple there. So it's kind of, I think it's having enlightened leadership that understands that it's kind of, whilst these shifts are happening, and whilst they're probably not going to be hiring Gen Z to come in and do a long-term structured career the way they might have done 30, 40 years ago with the previous generations, they still need to make it worth your while to actually work with them and be part of their organization.
Right.
And this is a way to do it. So I think there are enlightened organizations out there who will do that. So I think that there aren't enough of them, I don't think, but it's not something I hear about all the time. But I think it is something that a lot more need to take on board.
Right. I retweet on there need to be more of them. I think a lot of organizations like to talk a lot and they don't necessarily like to put their money where their mouth is. There was one initiative at City a few years ago that I heard about that was more about increasing the amount of, flexible spending that you would have like per month. And they got to a point where everyone at the company at least had like 10%, of their salary to be able to spend on whatever they wanted, or save the money. There's another one, another organization that was providing, it's really interesting because the buying patterns right now are so different. Everyone's, signing up for these monthly subscriptions to AI tools. There are a few companies that are providing kind of a stipend, like a monthly stipend for whatever personal or professional tools you're using. Like I'm always going to be using Canva. I'm always going to be using, ChatGPT or Perplexity. And so providing like a stipend for that, I've seen be a new benefit. And then also, obviously, if you're working flexibly, co-working spaces, memberships to co-working spaces, memberships to career development communities is a new one, a bigger one because there are so many new ones popping
Yeah.
up. But those are some other ones that kind of come to mind.
Hmm. No, I can see that, and all of those have value. And I think that um, the the way that organizations can now help to retain your generation's knowledge, your generation's appetite, your generation's drive and enthusiasm, is by giving these opportunities. It's a very different structure now, because there isn't as much of a career structure. So I think that there are a lot of different things people can do. I think if organizations really think about it, there are different ways they can keep people engaged, uh, without the career structure, if you like, that used to be what kept them engaged.
Yeah.
Um, and so there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that any organization that says, look, why are we doing these different things for them? Who cares about that?